What's going on, guys? Welcome to Pure Muscle Radio. This is the second episode with your host, Brandon Harding, and
Dylan McKenna.
And today we have a special guest. He is currently undergoing one of the most difficult challenges of his entire existence. He is about a week out from his next show. We're here with The Beast. We're here with Big Q. If you want to introduce yourself, mate.
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I'm actually really happy to get you on the podcast today. I've been lucky enough to have been in contact with you from the beginning of your prep, having met you in Canada, and then now witnessing, not being able to be there with you physically, having come back to the UK myself, but witnessing your whole journey over the duration that since the beginning of your prep, and now all the trials and tribulations that you faced essentially this year through beginning prep and holding off and then beginning again, and now being you're at the finish line. You're 1 week out. So essentially, if you want to give a little bit of a background story, maybe we can start with how you got into lifting. Like, how old were you? What drove you to want to take it this far? And when did you know that you wanted to step on stage?
I started really training, I think around like 17, 18. Like, I would fuck around with weights here and there when I was like, from when I was like 12, 13, 14. But I never had that consistency. I would train for like 3 weeks and then I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I became very like diligent with it when I was 17, and I just ran with it. And at first it was just, it was my reasons, my goals were very like vague.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to, get more attention from girls, look good, have abs, cool biceps.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally it. Just biceps, a little bit of delts, and some abs. Like, I didn't give a fuck about training legs. It didn't make sense to train back at the time. Like, it was just like...
Right. I mean, I feel like this is the way with like a lot of people. Like, personally, when I began the gym, I didn't hit legs for the whole first year and a half. Like, I didn't care about having skinny legs. I literally just wanted a nice chest, some nice shoulders. Again, I did enjoy training back. I liked, because only reason being is because there was a guy in school when I was 16. I think it's called Fletcher, Fletcher, Tom Fletcher, and everyone called him salty back, right? So it basically means well-seasoned back, as in like he had a nice back, and all the girls used to call him salty back because it was a well-seasoned, chiseled back. And I was like, I want to be called salty back, so I wanted to train back in the gym as well. That's something else.
Quinton, you probably grew like the arms and the chest like the first week and a half in the gym, kind of had like a men's physique size build already. So like, I think I'm pretty good, like 17, kind of. It is.
Yeah, Quinton at the age of 17 has already surpassed us both through 7 years of lifting.
Unfortunately, it's probably, But.
You can just look at the weights and the chest grows.
But I'm very curious because we've never really talked or met, but so how did you end up kind of getting into competing itself? Because obviously, like you said, 17, 18 is when you started like really, being like, okay, I kind of want to maybe train every body part and then, like actually get a lot more into it. When did you decide like, I'm going to do a show, and how'd that kind of come about?
So I think I was still in high school when I was 17, so I wasn't really making money. And I didn't my knowledge with fitness was horrible. Like, I was I was drinking milk after I trained. I thought there was protein in milk. Yeah. But it was the next year I started making a little bit of money, and I started like doing like a dirty bulk, and I made really good gains when I was 18, 19. So the gym I went to, like, it was like a commercial gym, like a Good Life. Brandon, do you know was Good Life around?
Yeah. Good Life in the UK is very similar to a Pure Gym for anyone listening in the UK. The big franchise Pure Gym that has literally zero vibe unless you are so zoned in. You're in your headphones. You block everyone out. That's the only way you're going to have a good workout in Pure Gym. Kind of the same as Good Life. Like, there's a lot of old people there.
Like commercial gym atmosphere.
Yeah. Like LA Fitness, Good Life, Pure Gym. By the way, Pure Gym in the UK is the franchise. Obviously, there's a Pure Gym Burlington that's fucking sick. That's a completely different thing. But you said when you got to like 19, you did a dirty bulk because you had a bit more money to invest into it. So where did it go from there?
So I had a workout partner, and he would force me to train legs, so I fucking hated him. We would do legs, back, and I started meeting people, and people would come up to me and and tell me, dude, you should compete, because I started to stand out at that gym. So I'm like, you know what, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I was at this point, I started watching a lot of videos. I started watching Pumping Iron. I watched it like 10 times, like when I was 19.
Yeah.
I started to develop that bodybuilding bug.
Yeah. That mentality of like, you love the motivation from like all like the old school shows and everything. Like, I feel like everyone begins that way somehow. Like, they find the one thing that drives them, whether it be like Arnold, or, you know, for the men's physique guys, probably 5 years ago, there was Z's, that guy. You know, like,
yeah, that's
so we all kind of like begin from this like pure passion for bodybuilding, and it can't be described any other way than just like a pure passion, because when you watch those videos, sometimes you get a bit emotional watching them, because you're like, oh, like, I want to go gym now. Like, I want to get in the gym now, because you feel so much ferocity, so much like that you can only get from a young age. You can only get from that, because now me and Dylan touched on this in the past podcast about how the motivation now feels a little bit different. Now it comes from a place of consistency and responsibility, opposed to before. The motivation came from like pure love and like, you know, childish, you know, it's new, it's you're getting these beginner gains and all these things, and it's like this fascinating new sport. But now it's definitely more of like a responsibility.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the thing that brings you back in the gym, and you know, you've been given a gift, you know, wherever you believe those genetics came from, like you've been given a responsibility now. Why the hell not? Because somebody would die for those same like genetics, muscle bellies, capacity to build a good amount of muscle. So it's almost like you're giving tribute to them, you're honoring yourself by like, you know what, I'm going to give it everything I've got. And that's exactly what you're doing now. Like, you can't give it anymore. Like, being coached by the person you're coached by, taking it as seriously as you are, you can't be doing yourself any better of a service with the sport of bodybuilding right now, because you're giving it everything you've got, and it's really cool to see. It's really motivated for myself, and probably everyone around you, probably everyone in the gym, to see you like be so passionate about it. When you're dying, you don't want to speak to no one, you know, when you want to like block everyone out. It's cool to see, man, because like it does inspire people the same way that, you know, you would have watched Arnold when you were 19, 20. People are going to look back and see this like this absolute monster that no one knows how he got there, but he's here now, and he's here to motivate people. And it's really cool to see. But so when you began finally training legs, by the way, if you began training legs at 20 properly and you're now 25, I'm 23. Okay, so Quinton's legs are like, this is my leg compared to Quinton's leg. Like,
That's awesome.
So where'd you go from there? Like, you're 20, you started training legs. When did the first competition happen?
It happened when I was 20. So I was going through. Funny you brought up Z's. That was one of my motivations at the time. I think he had just passed like 2 years before I turned 20 or something.
Yeah.
And so that year I was partying. I went to a couple raves. You know, I had like those fluorescent colored short shorts. I'm just having a good time. And
that's so sick.
Yeah, I think after all the events that summer, I'm like, all right, I need to settle down. There's a competition in November, and me and one of my friends decided to like register for it. So we just he had a coach, and I just kind of prepped myself for it, and things just happened to work out in my favor. My posing was absolute shit. I didn't know how to flex my glutes, but like I looked good enough to still win.
Yeah. So it was an NPC show, or?
Well, over here it's like CPA.
Oh, CPA. Okay, yeah, in Canada.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a link to the IFBB. So essentially, for anyone that wants to know a little bit about competing and like how the IFBB kind of works and the way it works in different countries as well. So there's the IFBB at the very top, and different countries have a different way to get, you know, your pro card within the IFBB. So in the UK, it's a federation called Two Bros Pro, IFBB. In Canada, it's CPA, and then in America, it's NPC. But it all is the same thing for anyone that, like, you know, I feel like in the beginning you hear all these names like CPA, NPC, Two Bros, you know, all these different things, but you don't know what it's basically just all linked to IFBB, which is the preferred, federation to get your pro card in. It's the link to the Olympia, the Arnold Classic, the New York Pro, all these big shows. Which is the show? What show are you doing now?
I'm getting ready for New York Pro next week.
New York
in
Pro
Tampa, though.
Yeah.
New York Pro in Florida. It's not New York at all. But,
So what's happening with that? What's been the difficult part of like keeping track of it, or like what's happening now with like the show? Where is it going to be?
Okay, so the funny thing is, I decided to do the New York Pro from last year, and at that point, it was supposed to be at May 16th. So then COVID comes, it's canceled. Then I think it was pushed back to July, then August, then finally September.
Yeah.
And about 5 weeks out, I was hearing rumors from people, from like connections that my coach Dorian has, that the show was going to be canceled, that it can't be hosted in New York. So I'm like, all right, let's do Cali instead. So we were going to do Cali, which is a week after. And then we find out that it wasn't canceled. They announced that they had just moved it to Tampa, I think at 3 or 4 weeks out. So we're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to Tampa now. So
isn't there also a Tampa Pro?
Yeah,
that already happened though, yeah.
That already happened.
Yeah, it was like beginning of August, I believe.
Okay,
yeah, which was a big show though. That show, it was an interesting show to watch, especially for like the heavyweights. It was like where Hunter made his debut. I think it was his debut, correct?
Yep.
As a pro.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he trained at I trained an arm brush gym in Denver, and he was guest posing at one of the local shows here like a week after he had won. I saw him in there. He looked solid, but yeah, that was, I guess the Tampa Pro was August something, so that had already happened, yeah. But no, so with this New York Pro show though, you're currently what you said, pretty much 7 days out.
Yeah, well, 8, but still, yeah, same shit.
Same shit. Okay, so you're coming into peak week right now.
Yeah, man, I'm already feeling it. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. Right now. I might seem all right, but like when my phone's down, I'm just like chilling alone. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, how do I?
You're just hungry, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hungry, yeah. I feel that. I mean, like, so do you feel like, because I personally know a few guys that are heavyweights, like some guy, actually a guy that competed in Tampa, and like his food going into the show was still so high, and it almost seemed like he wasn't really too hungry all the time. But I mean, I know it's different for everybody. Yeah. Obviously, you have such a massive amount of muscle. Are you eating like 4,000 calories right now, or like?
I don't really track the calories. There's been a lot of different like low days, high days, but I'd say majority of these days, like the food isn't enough for me.
Like
yeah.
you're suffering.
So I just find myself like twiddling my thumbs.
I'd say one of the great things about the fact that you're with Dorian is like Dorian takes a lot of the guesswork out of coaching. He is very, very, very smart, and he'll like adjust Quinton's macros on a daily basis, like based on how he's looking. Because you're lucky enough to be actually in the same gym with him, being the owner of Pure Muscle and Fitness. Like you're in and around, you coach all the time, which is actually amazing because it leaves less work for you. You can just knuckle down on prep, eat what you're told to eat, do what you got to do, and that's actually really cool. That, like you have such like a really close, good relationship with him. Someone that is so smart and like high up there in the coaching industry. Someone that is like so intelligent and will peak you in the best way, which is I'm actually really excited to see. For sure. But in terms of like your peak week plan, because there's obviously there's multiple ways to do it, but there's two main ways that people do it. They deplete into about 3 days out, and then 3 days out you start to sort of like carb load, or some people backload. So they'll essentially they'll start eating a bunch of carbs on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday they'll deplete into the show. People that have no issues staying full. So do you know your plan yet?
Honestly, this past like couple weeks, every day I wake up, I take pictures, send my weight, and it's a new plan. It's like everything is different. So I'm not too sure. It all depends on how I look, or it's just it's so instinctive at this point. But I would assume that it would be more on the lower side, and I do like a slow carb up maybe a day or two before the show.
I was gonna say, what have you done in the past? What's worked for you? Or like, have you ever like overspilled or done like ate too many carbs before a show? You felt you could have eaten less?
Yeah, for sure. Working with Dorian, not really like okay. So for Vancouver, we had a pretty good game plan. It was pretty much like I depleted until I think maybe 2 days out of the show, but then I started carving back up. The only problem with me is like you give me like an ounce of carbs and I hold water. So it's, I can't carb up too much or else like, you know, things get kind of blown out. So it's like, we have to find like that sweet spot pretty much. So I think you could
be very similar to me. I kind of realized like I was coached by 2 people prior to who I'm working with now, Callum, over the past 5 years, and all 4 shows, that I did previous to the last one, I carved up. And in the morning, I look great. By the night, I look like shit. And I play second in the shows, right? And I was obviously still very happy with the second place. But in the last show, I carved up 0. I actually had the least amount of food on show day. And then before show, I had a really high dose of fats and a really high dose of sodium. So it's just fats and sodium that gave me the energy. And weirdly so, on the fats, my physique came to life. I felt like radiation like inside me. I could get a pump so easily. I didn't cut out water, by the way, so like my water was still good to be able to get a pump, but like I had 0 carbs. So how I looked when I woke up, I looked the same on stage, which is all I wanted. Like I was like, I will fucking starve myself and eat nothing all day if I can look that way on stage, because I was like, if I do, I might win. And I did. So like we all find our thing that works. So like it's very similar to you. If you have like a bowl of oats, you're fucked.
But Brandon, don't you feel like in a sense, it's like, so the show that you did, like you came in and you killed that last show and you did dominate, you won that show. But I feel like, so it's like, let's just say, you know, when you're going for your pro qualifier show, right? Nationals, it's like, you might be like, okay, like you obviously want the condition, but you might need to come in like, not that you looked flat on stage, but I'm saying you might want to, you know, try to fill out even more. So it's like, you know what I mean? Just so you actually have like the combination.
So how I would plan against that is I would reverse like load. Essentially, I would have, let's just say my competition was on Saturday. I would have a high carb day, probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or just Monday, Tuesday, depending on what my coach wanted to do, and then deplete into the show.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. So I was still like having some of the carbs. Yes, I wouldn't be as full, but I'd rather be the most shredded guy on stage than the fullest guy on stage, because you can't not condition. Like if a guy loses and he's so much more shredded than first place, and second place is like bone dry shredded, and first place is like a bit fuller but not as conditioned, you always kind of like think like, why the hell did he win when this guy's dieted more? And I'd rather be that guy.
Yeah.
That's personally anyway. Like I've never cared about being full. I just want to be like, I want my ass to look like a raisin on stage, and that's it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do actually. I think so. A lot of people do over carb up in a sense, because, and you see it all the time. Like you see how like, you know, some like when a guy's like, you know, pointed out to be, wow, look at his condition at the show. It's almost just like, I feel it's like, okay, he just didn't over, you know, carb load. Because I see a lot of guys right on social media, they look phenomenal. Like 6 days before, they're shredded to the bone. And then like they have a burger and fries. Well, they have a burger and fries, you know, the night before the show, and pancakes on that morning, and their body's used to rice, like potatoes. And all of a sudden now they're like, yeah, I mean, and it's like they look a little fuller, but it just takes away
multiple show days on videos. I've seen multiple show days on YouTube where there's someone having like burger, fries, pancakes, muffin. Oh, I need more food. Muffin. Oh, I need more food. Go to McDonald's. Oh, I need more food. Some fries. And then they look like shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Like, what? Were you just that hungry? Like, you couldn't wait?
I mean, working with Dorian, that's why working with a good coach is so fucking important, I feel like, you know what I mean? Which you've obviously seen, Quinton. I mean, I compete in men's physique. I have a good coach for that. I mean, I'm sure, Brandon, you're happy with your coach, but having a good coach is just so crucial. So they don't just fuck you with that. Like, I mean, because like for you, you probably feel like, you know, going into it, you're going to look how you need to look, because Dorian, you know, he's done this. He's been there with lots of people, lots of bodybuilders. He knows your body and physique. So it's fucking crucial.
Let's finally, let's talk about how you feel, Quinton. Let's like, where do you want to go from this show? So like, this is a really important show to you. You give it everything you got. Where do you want to go after this? Like, what's your mental game plan?
You know, I guess this is just an experience to show the world, like, you know, me at my best and me with the improvements that I made this past year. In terms, like, I believe, like, I'm going into it with the mindset of I'm coming to win.
Yeah.
However, I'm okay with not winning as long as I look my best. Now, at my age, 25, I believe I'm the oldest person on this call right now.
Yeah.
but I'm a pretty young guy.
Bodybuilding terms, it's like a baby.
Oh,
yeah. It's like a baby.
So,
yeah.
Like the best bodybuilders usually aren't at their peak till like mid 30s, late 30s. So
100%.
I just think it's more of a marathon, not a race. And as long as I have the showing that I know that I can have, I'm good to shut it down, give my body a break. Because, man, I've been going since like January.
Yeah.
And then just improve for next year and come back better. However, if I win, I'm doing the Olympia. Like that's not even a question. But I'm not going to chase down show after show to try and get there on points, or it's not that important to me at the time. What's more important is just the long-term goal.
100%.
So it's almost like you almost feel like you can get there, but you're like you're gonna get where you want to get, but you're like there are stepping stones to get there. I mean, even every top Olympian, Phil Heath, literally any anyone, any pro, they lost to somebody. Not saying you will at the show, but I mean, it's like that mindset's definitely a great one to have, because it's like, let's just say you go in there and like, whatever the case happens, it's like having the mindset to know that, no matter what happens, I'm still going to get to that goal that I want to reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most important thing to take out of that. Yeah.
I feel like that mindset is great for two reasons. One, it mentally safeguards yourself if things don't necessarily go your way, and you can be a noble person in defeat, essentially, which is amazing for like game plan post show. Like, what you do, like instead of falling into depression or whatever else, you know exactly what you're meant to do, and you gave it everything. And the second reason it's great to have that mentality is because it's yours eventually. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, because it's like, I mean, you've heard it a million times. You haven't about having the capacity to be on the Olympia stage, to do well in the Olympia, but generally, like, it is the most mind-boggling thing to see, like, actually what it looks like in person. Someone that has the potential to do it. Because even when I was training at Pure, even when I was there and you were just posing, like, and you were like far out from the show, man, it's unbelievable. And only Olympia competitors, people that do well in the Olympia, are described in such a way, wow. Yeah. It is something else to see that guy pose. It's just great. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, and I'm grateful that you have that mentality of like, you're going to give it everything no matter what happens on show day. You gave it your all, and that's all that matters to you. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Exactly what you said. And that's an amazing mindset to have. And it's a testament to like who you are as a person, even on this stage of prep, because obviously the camera's not always on. People have high moments, people have low moments, but to be honest, the fact that you've like maintained composure of your personality the majority of way through prep, like, the nicest guy in the world at the beginning of prep, but you're also the nicest guy in the world now, which is amazing, which is one of the reasons why I'm super happy that like things are going really well for you in terms of like bodybuilding career, social media. Like, your Instagram's almost on like 50,000 now, and it was so much lower than that, like literally not even long ago. And things are going, it's just really good to see good people do well. So I'm just happy for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Well, actually, rolling from that question, like, in a sense, right, with your Instagram and social media, and it's like maybe like Nick Strength and Power or this channel or that channel talking about you, because I've seen it myself, and now your name is like, it's out there, right? Like, people are like, okay, he's coming to the New York Pro, or you know what I mean? Like, they're expecting you, right? Like, do you feel any sort of
fucking shitting
like
themselves
pressure? Yeah, well, definitely that. But do you feel any like pressure on yourself, or are you just kind of like having fun with it? You're like, I know I'm young. Like, where are you at with that, the pressure of it?
Well, the funny thing is, like, when I started using gear like 2 years ago, like, I knew that I knew I did it because I knew I was going to be great, so it was something I had already visualized. And it's not that I do this because I want to be popular, but I know that, and I knew that the better that I got, I would get eyes on me. People would start to notice me. People would start to talk. And for me, it's an honor. It's an honor to be brought up. It's an honor to have people feature me and speak kindly of me and, share their opinions, even if it's constructive. I feel honored to just be in that conversation. So, but it's definitely something that it just shows me that I'm moving in the right direction. So when I hear it, it motivates me, and it's like, you know what, like I got to make sure that I give them something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can tell that you feel no pressure by it, that there's no extra weight on your shoulders. A lot of people let like numbers get to them in terms of just like, oh my God, if I don't do well, like people are going to judge me, blah, blah, blah. When realistically, like no one gives a shit. Like people, wait, I shot a notification. Oh, anyway, some people let it get to them, some people don't. And it's really good that like, you know, regardless of the numbers, regardless of what people say and the support and whatever, you know that people are going to love you whatever happens, like, and that's great. And other people need to realize that too, that like it's all love. Like this is a sport, everyone's just trying to do their best, and the best man wins on the day. So there is no pressure, and it's great that you realize that, and you're only just here to try like leave a good mark and do the right thing by people that follow you, and that's cool. That's cool. I feel like we could wrap it up there.
All right,
that's sweet. It's been amazing. It's been really good to have you on. Thanks for sharing like part of this journey and like how you started and stuff. I'm sorry for like taking your time while you want to sleep probably and just like do nothing and not speak to people, but we appreciate it, man. And you know, good luck in 8 days. We know that you're gonna do good things and, you know, give it your everything.
Yeah, thanks, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Cool. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. This is the second episode of Pure Muscle Radio. If you enjoyed it, please share it with a friend. Put it in your Instagram story. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.